Entrepreneurship in an AI world. How many entrepreneurs we have in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many people here talk to people and meet people and introduce themselves to people? You're entrepreneurs as well. You are the brand. It was interesting because I have a friend of mine from the country of Georgia, and he became a member of the World Economic Forum a number of years ago. And he's very close to Klaus. And he was complaining to Klaus that this is basically the second year, and I've been spending a lot of money. And Klaus said something to him, according to the story, which was, it's you. Meaning, you're the one that is presenting yourself wrong. So it was an interesting moment of this very successful businessman to realize, you're right. Because if nothing changes, nothing will change. You want your business to thrive? Something is going to need to change. Because out there are entrepreneurs that are starving. Super successful, Tim Johnson, but there are people like him that say, it is not about more money. It is about preparing for what happens tomorrow. It's about arming yourself with the right tools, arming yourself with the right assets, and with the right minds around you. So Chris Voss, I love you, and I know you're talking this afternoon. It's to put yourself around guides like Chris Voss that'll teach you a new way of communication, to recognize that it is going to be a mind war. It is going to be a battle. And sometimes you can lose a battle and it's not going to impact you. Other times, like Mr. Riyadh, who will be up here in a little bit, will tell you, after driving around the country of France, door after door after door to get them to give him an opportunity to show them his linens, that one person said yes to the tune of 1 million euros. Then on that day, Riyadh was ready, he was prepared, he was excited. He was treated that day like it was his first day on the job. So I would encourage each and every one of you as we get into this next panel of entrepreneurship, that you are all entrepreneurs, that you will be going from here to wherever you live, and you will be bringing that knowledge with you. These are some of the most accomplished entrepreneurs in this room. Clayton Thomas, are you here? I hope you are. There's my boy right there, Clayton. Clayton has built a multi-$100-million company. He's crazy, but he's my kind of crazy. He will tell you, I didn't think far enough. Dan Pena said to me, you're never going to go beyond your greatest aspiration. So I would encourage you as you learn from masterminds like Mr. Tim Johnson and Imtiyaz and the others of what is your end destination, because you're never going to go beyond that. Encourage yourself to think higher, to aim further. That to me, we should not start on the earth. You should be starting in space. Newton said what? If I've seen further, it is because of what? I stood on the shoulders of others or giants. So Chris, you get to see. And what I love about Chris, and Chris, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you, what does this mean to you?
Kaleidoscope.
Ah, interesting. And why is a kaleidoscope so interesting? It's how you what?
It's how you see the world and you appreciate the nuances.
You appreciate the nuances. We are all different. I have light skin. My brother has a little darker skin. We are all so different neurologically, biologically. At the same time, we're all very similar. We're all the same species. We're going to be learning a little bit from another gentleman that's going to talk about longevity. Living longer. How do we live longer, yet live healthier? Friend of mine, an astronaut, Buzz Aldrin. Anybody ever heard the name? Apollo 11. I mean, this guy, you want to talk about courage. It was a one-way trip. He's 95. I asked him when I was with him back in June, because I never get to interview 95-year-olds, by the way. It's like, so it's cool when you can ask, what's it like to be 95? He said, every day's a challenge. So, on this knowledge share of today, I'd like you to keep that in mind of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, to think further, to use that kaleidoscope to know that not everyone's going to see the world the way we see it, but we still can communicate effectively, as we're going to hear from Chris Voss. With that, I'm going to introduce a very dear friend of mine, someone who coaches me. Karen Falkler, would you please join us on stage? Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, so how many entrepreneurs do we have out here? I saw a lot of hands go up. So this is going to be a fun panel. This is not meant to be taken too seriously, please, because it's early. All right, so let's start with something easy. Let's start with maybe your name, a little bit about where you're from, and maybe something that you love about your work. And we'll just kind of go down the line.
Myself, I'm Imtiyaz Kalsekar, born in India in a very small town called Konkan. And from there, came to Dubai in my early age. I've spent my 50 years of my life in Dubai. So you can say me an Indian-born Emirati. And I'm a perfumer who makes a perfume to give a smile for the human.
Hi, my name is Ridvan, Aliu. My story goes from Microsoft, Amazon as a senior architect, then moved to Florida, the Sunshine State. I had the failure of a few businesses before a few of them started picking up, and now I'm in the business of empowering students to launch their own entrepreneurship program or their own companies. We've had success in Kosovo. My originality is from Kosovo. So I have an academy with about 700 students. The last 2 years, 3 of the startups made above $1 million in ARR. And we got excited, so we're trying to push that through the remaining of the students. And the last startup is actually into the drone production for the military of Kosovo. So very exciting, and I'm back now in Kosovo from 25 years in the United States and helping the youth there. So.
Tim Johnson, CEO Health and Tech. I live in Iowa, built a company from the couch, and we went public about a year ago on Christmas Eve. Never do that. What a problem. So, but we're doing very well. We're growing rapidly. We provide health technology for health service providers, other vendors, health insurance companies, and yeah, using AI. The last group of people, we're talking a lot about AI. AI is growing really fast in our space, and we're leading the way.
My name's Clayton Thomas. I'm the founder of the Root Brands. We're based in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a byproduct of my wife's expertise. So one of the best things we've been able to do is my wife, who you'll probably hear from later, Dr. Christina Ram, is probably the leader in health innovation and technology, in nanotechnology and bioscience engineering. And she was able to take what she's done in biotech and apply that to nature. Because as we've looked at this bridge between health and technology, and we see it in AI, but the key part is understanding the primary operating system that runs this planet, which is human capital. And treating the human body the same way that we treat computer systems is understanding that it is a hardware and operating system basis, not just playing with apps and software. So 6 years ago, we launched a concept of bridging health and tech and creating an algorithmic fintech ecosystem that taps into social commerce while creating systemic solutions to allow humans, animals, and the planet to become what it's been made to. And haven't spent a dollar on traditional advertising, but we've done a couple $100 million in revenue or doing business in 80 countries and have given away $100 million in the last 5 years because of tapping into one primary basis. Outcomes create income, and your greatest investment is in your customer base, because your customers create customers, and if you create outcomes for them and invest in them, they'll carry you anywhere. So this opportunity from an entrepreneurial standpoint is primarily to understand that we're not all made to be entrepreneurs. The risk that everyone up here has taken, the failures that we've all had, the losses, the millions of dollars in losses, the lawsuits, all of the things that coincide with these things, 99% of this population is not made to take any of that on. But my favorite author wrote in her first book that we are each an imperfect piece to a perfect puzzle. So the 8.5 billion or so of us that are here are all made to work together in some aspects. You're not made to connect to everyone, but if we each do our piece, which the journey of this process is to figure out what that is, humanity gets to have a much better experience, and that's the beauty of being here.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. What are you most excited about as it relates to entrepreneurship these days in AI?
What am I today? I have to see myself what I was earlier days. So let me start about my father. He was at the age of 9, he was an orphan. And till 53, he was struggling to earn money. So from the 9 years to the 53, he was really like struggling his life to get something because he was born in a poor family. But I think that is the biggest university, the biggest lesson I could ever get from my father. So what is my knowledge about my business, my AI and everything? I really respect to my father and it's a tribute to him. So that's the first thing. I always thanks to God that I was being born in that family. Back to me as an Imtiyaz, it's a very challenging time for me because when my legacy of the company, which is a 50 years old company, and when you want to change that company to the new generation, so you can't just change to the modernity because of the technology or because of the thought process. You have to maintain the legacy and then you have to bring the modernity. Today, I came with my daughter. She's Sarah Kalsekar. She is my like my mentor. When I see her, I get all the energy and all the power. And I have 2 more girls back home. So I'm a woman empowerment. I don't believe like I just have to say the woman empowerment. I certainly have my religion that women should come up. And that's what my is. Back to the point of what you said about the business strategy and the AI. You see, AI is a tool. For me, AI is just a tool. It's a support system in a human world. It cannot replace the human. That's the first thing I say to my people around wherever I go. Let's talk about one of my, let's say, an investment into the perfumery. What I'd invested is like, it's a Contexa. It's called a machine called Contexa. My daughter and I was in the south of France, and then she told me, Dad, I really love this fragrance. Can't you convert this fragrance into the perfume bottle? Here comes my AI. That idea was given by my daughter, but how to convert the environment of a fragrance into the bottle. So that is my investment into the Contexa. You can just Google it up. I have my company in south of France. You guys are more welcome to come and have a look for that machine. It's a very simple machine. It works like a human nose. It extracts all the environment chemicals into the data. And from the data, it gives us a graph, like what are the fragrances and what are the chemicals are available. And then from that data, we convert to our data bank where I have a perfumist and they make the perfume. So somebody asked me, Imtiyaz, does it make your work much more easier? I said, no, human has to be there because the final thing is the nose. Machine cannot give you the nose. Machine cannot tell you, okay, X personality would like this fragrance or Y personality will like this fragrance. So that was my first biggest investment in terms of the AI of the machine. My second investment in terms of my business AI was the data. I have invested millions of dollars collecting the data. Data doesn't mean what you do, how you live. I want to understand what makes you to buy the perfume. What times of the year, what times of the day, what time of the season, and which fragrance you like, and why do you like. So it was $1 million investment we have invested with the Silicon Valley guys. And I'm the first person in the UAE because I come from a country with UAE, a dream country or a dream city, Dubai. I don't think so anyone in the world who doesn't want to come to Dubai. It's one of the most beautiful country. And the one thing which I like about my country is my leader say, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, he always says me, always think for number 1. There is nothing called number 2 in your life. I got a fear, as he said, I got millions of dollars of failures. I got fear. What was my fear? My family, because I'm their treasury. I have to take care of my family, their schooling, their knowledge and everything. I'm just like a normal father like all you are. We all think in the same perspective.
Yeah, I know. Let's get some other perspectives too.
Yes, I'm sorry. It was a bit longer. I'm sorry for that, guys. I got a bit emotional, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Here's my perspective. I was in Seattle area a couple of weeks ago, and just so you guys know, Microsoft laid off 50,000 employees last year, and I'm a direct vendor with Microsoft and Amazon. And what do? A lot of my colleagues lost their jobs. They're developers at high level. So my background is a software engineer back in the days, and now I want to switch on what's going on now, especially in the tech field. As much as AI, some of the industries have not touched yet. It is going to touch, and it is going to automate a lot of stuff. So let's switch now to what I'm doing and how I feel we should move along with this in this AI era. Back now to my students. Not that long ago, 2.5 years ago, we were teaching our students how to develop websites and apps. And fast forward now, that is not really the trend that we should go about, what's happening now, we moved everybody towards robotics. That's how the drone business were born. We created labs for them. From one thing to another, they ended up building military drones. So we build military drones for the country of Kosovo right now. So what happened back in as a developer, I used to go grab help from senior developers to build something, and with 20 people I can build a very nice app or website, for example. Now I can do that with 1 or 2. So what happens to the remaining 18? That's the question. Now, what the trend or the analysis back from my colleagues and the market, everybody is trying, all the developers are trying to move into the product development, more of building their own products. And there's a trend of there's not been a time of millionaires, teenager millionaires building their own products with AI and going to the market. So that is, I guess, what we are trying to do in our end in terms of software engineers. By the way, I used to outsource, and I still outsource about 300 engineers in Europe, where what do we do with them now? We don't need as many. So moving to product development, moving to building your own company and building your own product and hitting the market, I think that's where we see the trend moving forward, and robotics at the same time. So more of hardware connected with software, not just programmers at this point.
As far as AI and entrepreneur, how it's affecting me, I'm not a tech person. I have a tech company. Tech is in every name. HITChain, it's in everything I do. I need help with my phone. But what I do have is vision. I started HITChain in 2019. I wrote it down, long white paper on it, tried to get some technology people to build it for me. It's a huge solution for our industry, but the tech wasn't there yet. So as far as being an entrepreneur and thinking about AI and technology in general, the entrepreneur's the guy with a vision. He has the ideas. He doesn't necessarily have to be able to build it or do some of these things. He has to have the vision. My vision was way out in front of the technology, and it still is. 2 days ago, Dustin, if he's still in the room, I had an idea. And he's like, well, tell me your idea. And he walked into got a napkin and I wrote it down on a paper with a little diagram. A half hour later, it's done. The programming is there. I need to give it to an engineer, and he can create something that our market and my industry does not have today. My industry is so antiquated. It's 6.6 trillion. It's one of the largest industries in the US, okay? Nobody does technology with it. It's managed by some 800-pound gorillas, and they like making the money they do, and they're not going to change it because they'll have to, if it doesn't work, they have to account for the board of directors, right? They're going to let the cat out of the bag. So not to keep talking about this, but the entrepreneur, the vision, and AI, it's come a long way, and you need to figure out how to use it and how to do it quick, because I could never imagine I could have my idea built in a half hour on the top of a mountain.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, now I get to light some fires. I don't know if we want to record this. This will get me in trouble. Here we go. So the foundation to AI and technology of where we're going, the first component is decentralization. And unfortunately, right now, every conversation that's going on in tech is around centralization. And the beautiful part is a lot of this innovation has actually come from genius minds and research fellows at Microsoft. And I love Azure, because our new platform is running on Azure. But the key in this is understanding the human capital aspect and where all of these assets are coming from, right? The centralized mechanisms that are being developed currently are farming everyone's data. It's human capital that is all going into machines that is being monetized and capitalized by outside entities. There was some research done on patents filed about 6 months ago from one of the research fellows at Microsoft with data and a history that was done at Stanford back in, I think it was 1998. That to do cancer research at Stanford, they were linking PlayStations and having multiple PlayStations do computational analysis as a network, which was allowing them to get research done extremely quickly. The problem was everyone thought that was too disruptive. The interesting part is when we look at the centralization of, I'll say the big five, as I walk down the street getting here from Gemini, Anthropic, Chat5, Grok, and then the beast that no one in America likes to talk about, which is the decentralized mechanism in AI being DeepSeek. If you have a device in your hands that has a CPU, an NPU, and a GPU, and you network 100 million, 300 million, a billion of them together, but the data that's being created in the computational work is actually distributed to the network themselves. The 6 billion plus people that are on phones, on laptops, on iPads or other mobile devices are going to be the network. It's a distributed network that allows the monetization of all of that data and all that asset to be controlled by every individual and monetized through it. There's no need for data centers because the network's already developed. Whether we look at commerce or we look at technology, the foundation comes from us. AI, artificial intelligence, the only reason it's going to be a problem is if it's managed by actual idiots. And this is the thing with AI that we know. Garbage in, garbage out. If you do a bad search, you ask for bad information, you're going to get bad responses. So the key in this as we look at technology is starting from the foundation. True development technologically, corporately, has to be in your DNA, right? And it has to be a philosophical basis going forward, but you can't lose your soul in technology. So the key in this and the hard conversations that we're going to have is where the trillions of dollars are flowing right now needs to be redirected. The technology's in place, the innovation's there, and the key part now is entrepreneurs. And as we look at the attendees that are at the event, not in just this room, but here over the next couple days for this, we can take care of the entire planet if we all do it collectively, because each of us has our pieces. But for all of these businesses to be worth trillions and trillions of dollars, it's easier to distribute it and allow people to do what they are, because true freedom, true global freedom is going to come from connectivity. It's not going to go from centralization and control. And that was a conversation I had a couple of years ago when we were here the last time. If we look at ending world hunger and how governments were going to do that, they won't, because it's control, power, and money. But if you put the power in the hands of people, we'll solve all these problems. It's like Kosovo as an example. If you've never been to Kosovo, you wouldn't understand how amazing it is. Madam President is like best friends with Christina, and being there and seeing what they're doing in pharma and technology and what you can do when you put the power back in people's hands. But also how the impact of the environment is also affecting that, because they have 15 times the levels of mercury in their environment than anywhere else in Europe, and there's those complications. So it's blending these things that would make sure that we're taking care of people and people can take care of people.
Great point. Thank you so much for that. So keeping on the continuing of taking care of yourself and people, each of you brings your own secret sauce, essentially, to what you do, even with the technology. So how do you, as entrepreneurs, keep your power and take care of yourselves, with and without technology? What are some of the simple things that you do? Because we do have so many entrepreneurs in the room. So, and we can start kind of back with Tim.
So I grew up in a very rural part of the world, all right, Iowa, right? We produce corn, beans, cattle, pigs. That's what we do. So I grew up with that. My father was a farmer. His father was a farmer. I wanted out. It's a hard life. It's tough to do. However, the things that my father taught me made me who I am today. I'm sitting here because I didn't have any money. My family was poor. My dad said, if you want it and you can't buy it, you need to build it or fix it, one or the other. And that's what I do now. I'm a builder by nature. If you come by my house, it looks kind of funky because I get bored and I start building on my house. So I've rebuilt my house 3 or 4 different times. I ran out of space, so I built a building so I could redo that. That is how I take care of me. You have to have something outside of it. Somebody retiring, I look forward to retiring. Some people, if all you have is your business, you're going to have a problem when because you're not going to retire. You're going to get back in it. You need something else. And my something else is that. I just like to work on other things. So.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right.
I guess they're saying that even CEOs and entrepreneurs will be taken over by AI. So there will be an AI tool that can lead your company. So you're not needed anymore. That could be true. I don't know the way it's going. In any case, the way that I take care of myself, Remember, I'm in the business of trying to empower the youth in Kosovo, so I'm always in the mode of keeping up with the trend and learning and bringing new stuff to them. You know, whether I'm being replaced or not, it's the excitement for me is researching the trend and bringing it to the country. So. I guess that's my passion, excitement. Besides, I have 4 kids, so I spend a lot of time with kids. 3 boys and a girl. You know, a 17-year-old that is into the AI, robotics. He's trying to join MIT and come back to the country and contribute. So I spend a lot of time with the kids, and you know, I have from 5 all the way to 17. So I got a lot of a busy life.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Not going to take much time. Don't worry about it. For me, it's very simple. In our Arabic term, we say, Innama al-yusri yusra, which means every difficulty bring the ease. And I believe into this thing. Innama al-yusri al-yusra. So for me, it's just because, as he rightly said, Mr. Tim, I'm also born up and brought up in a very poor family. So we have to do everything by ourselves. And today I run a company with more than 2,500 employees, with 300 most boutique. And I have a worldwide 150 across the globe. I'm doing my own distribution. But can you believe, till now, if I want to do my ticketing, I do it myself. I don't even like to give it to my daughters. So I do everything with my hands because I believe a leader should believe in himself. And then the followers should understand the leadership is not about the money. It's not about the materialistic life. What you have is just as simple as you are. So the question comes back to me. I believe in one thing, fear. I do have a fear. I'm a human being, like everyone, but there's 2 options when you say the fear. Forget everything and run out of this room, or forget everybody and raise your bar. So my things comes on raising the bar every day.
Excellent. Thank you
Am
for
I
sharing.
short and sweet?
And you smell amazing.
I wish some girls would have given me this. Thank you.
So when it comes to performance, the easy part for me is I was able to listen to my wife. As I was hitting on initially, you have to look at the human body the same way that we look at the rest of business. It takes systems engineers to build entire data systems. The data fabric systems that are running, you know, the major tech companies that are running governments right now are not built by, you know, simple programmers and hackers. The human body is even more complex. So you need actually to take insight from a systems engineer that knows how to work with the entire system. Right? You have to understand that we are physical, mental, psychological, spiritual, and emotional all simultaneously. Right? And the environment that we live in has been constructed, and we've been poisoned over about 7 generations that has inhibited our true potential and function. So the first thing that we have to do is look at the human body like a Superfund site, where it's about environmental remediation. It's not just about cleaning up the mess. It's about how you optimize and how you allow this to continually upgrade. The crazy part is this system is the same as the environment that we live in, because it is truly intelligent design. The planet is 70% water, 17% silica, and a mixture of other components. The human body consists of 70% water, 17% silica, and a mixture of other components. The crazy part is if you talk to entrepreneurs that have been insanely successful and had an opportunity to exit, and there's probably a lot of them here in this room or definitely around here, ask every one of them and they'll tell you the one thing that they value. Because once you have money, you understand value and you know what you value, and that's your health. It's, you go to church, people pray for one of 2 things and often both. It's health and money, whether it's yourself or those around you. So the most important thing is to not sacrifice your opportunity to maintain one while you're trying to grow others. But the aspect of understanding this operating system and knowing where we are now and having, you know, the opportunity for the last decade to work with a nanotechnologist and bioscience engineer that is now holding, what have you filed, over 80 patents now? No, it's about you. It's my microphone. So actually taking the last 6 years and building a foundation in tech and in science, because we're not to the point now where we can just talk. It's about proof. And if you look at how Rome was developed, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. The key in any business, whether we look at AI or you look at tech as an entrepreneur, is building a foundation. You can't build a house, you know, on sand or on dirt and try to go up. You have to lay a foundation first. That takes time. It takes planning. It takes experience. It takes vision. Once you've laid that foundation, then you can bring in builders and designers to lay on top of that. But if you don't have the vision of how big of a foundation you want to develop, you can build a foundation to put a table, you can build a foundation to build an empire. It's understanding what your goals are, what your vision is, and then how you're going to incorporate everything around you. And that's really the key, is not investing just in a business, but investing in yourself and investing in your staff and your employees, because there's a truth. Happy, healthy people make more money. So you can think about that for yourself. You can think about for your wife, your kids, your spouse, your family, but also your employees. The more you invest in those around you, the better your returns are going to be.
Great, thank you for sharing. So I'm going to ask a little bit harder question now, because we do have a lot of entrepreneurs in there. Yeah, Tim's already got it. So what keeps you up at night as an entrepreneur? You know, I mean, there's lots of sleepless nights. It has to be fun, but it is hard, right? So what keeps you up at night?
Not being able to build the next best thing, in my mind. What I know my market needs. We're in a very unique position, our company, because we have a broad range of experience, and we know what solves this healthcare. He's talking about decentralization. He's talking about a lot of the things that we are building. Yeah, we are. And what keeps me up is not being able to build it. Now, I'm very giddy about this conversation I had the other day on the mountaintop, because now I actually saw how it builds. I told you I'm not a tech person. So when people say, well, why can't you build that faster? I don't have an answer for them. Well, now the way people are programming and the speed with which it's getting done, that's keeping me up, because now I'm excited about it. Before I was worried about it, but now I'm excited about it. So that's what's keeping me up.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. All right, who wants to take that one next?
Well, lately, I'm hoping none of my students will give the wrong coordinates to the drones and the targets. So that's what I mean, these drones are not friendly, so that's why. I guess it's more or less what Tim is saying. You know, the way that things are moving so fast and the way that our products are being built so quickly. I always want to get into the new exciting product that the student has built in our ecosystem and then push them to the market. So remember, we have 700 plus students and 1,600 registered lately for the drone business. And they all come up with different robotics ideas, different app ideas, and I want to filter them out and then take them to the market, you know, because we've had success with a few of them. We want to keep pushing that. So that's lately what's been happening.
Thank you so much.
I don't have a problem sleeping at night. I think this is the important part, because when you can feed your gut what your pineal gland makes or needs to make endogenous melatonin and DMT, so you can get into deep REM sleep and activate your lymphatic system, there's a little biology for you. But when you understand that the body needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep, it's not a weakness, it's a superpower. But when you can get into a lucid dreaming state, or when you go past dreaming and you start problem solving while you're sleeping, you'll be more efficient and get more done while you're laying down than you will during the day, because those 8 hours while you're sleeping is probably the only time where no one's going to interrupt you. Right? Your phone's not ringing. You don't have 57 different problems going on. You're giving your body the chance to reset, rest, recover, regenerate, do all the things that you know you need to do, but it's the only time that it happens. So the fallacy in entrepreneurialism is to think that you need to run 18 to 20 hours a day, and that's a strength. That's how you fall apart. You lose efficiency. You will not see the issues that are right in front of you at times because you're not running properly. So doing the things that allow you to rest and recover, like I was a sprinter, right? So in order to run 10 and a half seconds, I had to train constantly, but the most important thing was our rest period and recovery time, because you can't run that fast repetitively. You'll do what I did, which is blow up your hamstring on TV. It doesn't work. So the key is being able to understand that you have to rest, and it is not a weakness. It will empower you greatly.
Great, thank you for sharing.
Okay, that's my last. Can somebody close the door? No, not for that, because I will take 30 minutes. Okay, just on the lighter side. I don't want
Make
to
sure they can't get away.
Yeah. I'm a very simple person. I have a very simple policy for everyone. I believe in what I say. And I believe what I say, and I say those things only which I can do. So I don't have a sleepless night, first of all. The only thing what I say, I would like to commit to myself, because in my ecosystem, there are families of my suppliers, family of my employees, family of myself. So if I don't do those things, so I'm not trying to make my own disaster. I'm making an ecosystem of my entire suppliers chain or a distributor chain. So that is a single sleepless point comes to me, thinking about others. I can sustain myself, but I can't be vulnerable, or I can't be a pinpoint for others. That's because of him, something is lost. So I think for me, sleepless nights and fear is a very small thing in my life. So I'm good to go. I have a big vision for 2030. Let me share, everyone. I have more than 1,000 stores to be open in next 4 years. It's a big dream, and I have a biggest factory in the Middle East, which is more about 100,000 square meter, and I have a big employees. So I would like invite everyone, whenever you guys come to Dubai, please do and come and visit to my factory. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Do we have time for just one more?
For me?
One more? Yeah, okay.
For me?
No. well, you touched on it exactly, and that was, I wanted to ask, what is your vision, with this, as we kind of are carrying forward. So you've shared your vision. So I would love to hear, from everybody, what's your vision as we look to the future?
Well, I'm hoping to increase the GDP of Kosovo from 11 billion right now to hopefully 100 plus or more. And that is by stimulating entrepreneurship and what we're doing in the robotics business as well. Kosovo is a very small country, $1.6 million. Maybe you can open a store there too, or two. So we can collaborate in that direction. But really just empowering the students with the knowledge so they can grow their own startups and then bring money to the country.
Awesome, thank you.
In 5 years, I'd like to see the entire decentralization of healthcare. I would like everybody in this room to have access to all your health information on your phone, any way you want it, 24/7. So wherever you're at in the world, you can go see this doctor, that doctor. Doesn't matter, because you can share it with them at any point. It's yours. You need to be able to do with it what you want.
What he just said. No, my mantra that I kind of live by is TGD. Is total global domination. Because if we put the power in the hands of people, then everything can shift, right? So when we talk decentralization, here's an interesting note, and I'm passing this. As Tim was going over, you said $6 billion a year, or $6 trillion a year in healthcare, right? Yep. Crazy part is the $1.4 trillion monster that sits behind that is that there's an entire industry built on selling our health data that we own. That we don't get a frickin' penny for. So the key in that is actually having a post-quantum encrypted lockbox that every individual has, that all of your data is stored in. Every content that you post on social media, everything you do on all of these different platforms, every bit of information you have should be yours, should be controlled, and it should be monetized. And I'd like to thank President Trump for the creation of the Genius Act, because if you read it closely, what he hit on is that companies or organizations will be able to monetize assets. The problem is that Palantir and everybody else got access to all of your data for free, and that's what they're going to monetize if we don't control it. So if we want to make the world great again, then it's coming back to using all this data and putting it in the hands of ownership, monetizing it properly, because if we do that, there's no more healthcare costs, because your data will pay for it itself and will monetize your healthcare because you are the asset. Okay, you get to follow that.
No, I think I'm done.
Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for everything that you had to say. Are there any questions or anything from the audience?
Our team competed in the X Prize Rainforest Conservation for 5 years. 276 scientists, indigenous leaders, microbiologists, environmental DNA, and of course the youth, the citizen scientists that worked all over the world extracting material from Mother Earth, looking at the gut biome of the animals, looking at the gut biome relations to the neurotoxins that are also in our bodies and the cancer So the semifinals happened to be in Singapore, where we found 116 contaminants in one of our eDNA molecule sets. So I'm coming back to you because that was open sourced. So I would love the work to continue together. But the core I place is, how do we do this? Because here you are, all your brilliance, all the work that we've done collectively and as a community. But if we are not alive, as we talked about, the 70% of our body's water and that of the water of the earth, then how do we actually preserve and conserve? And then where are the indigenous peoples in this alignment of our gut biome and health biome for the planet? And somebody mentioned Rome. You did, actually, because it was a talk that I did in the Vatican this year on transcendence and humanity for AI, from soil to soul. So I echo that, but what is it that we can all do collectively as we leave this room so we can be participating?
Well, I think that we're all here, for exactly that purpose. I mean, here we are in this beautiful place all together. So, I mean, I encourage you in the sessions, after the sessions, and as we are here this entire week, to take the time to truly connect with each other, because we truly are stronger together. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.